Hi, people. It's been a long time since I posted anything. and 9 months, 10 months, something like that. Almost a year. And a lot of water under the bridge in those 9 months or so. And people were sending me messages, and I appreciate them. And, well, where are you? What happened to you? Are you okay? Which is delightful. I appreciate the concern. Um, and some people know the stories, and so I thought I would make a video. I feel well enough to make a video with what's been happening here since we last saw each other 9 months ago. Would be around January, February, something like that. And most of you know that I had a kidney transplant in January of 22. And they said, it's not 100% compatible. Most people have been exposed to something called the Epstein-Barr virus, which is a benign virus. You get it if you have a good immune system. Nothing happens. You don't know you've got it. And around 90% of the people walking around today, including you probably, have had this virus. And it doesn't do anything. So with the kidney, that was January of 22. So it's going to be in January 4 years. 2 years, sorry. And so they said, we got a kidney for you. You're AB plus, and we got an AB plus kidney. The only issue is that everybody on the planet, at least in Toronto, has been exposed to this Epstein-Barr virus. You haven't. You've managed to avoid it. And it might cause a bit of a problem. There's a 3% chance of it causing a problem. Well, you guys know that if there's a chance of anything causing a problem, I'll get it. When it comes to falling off the unlucky tree, I've managed to hit pretty much every branch all the way down. So get the kidney. It's working properly. In fact, I'll preface this by saying that the heart operation that I had back in 2020, the heart's working perfectly. It's pumping like a steam engine. The kidney, last time we had it checked about 2-3 weeks ago, it's perfect. It's working properly, but it caused quite a bit of upset. So I'll try not to make this video too long, but it's almost a public service announcement, as all of my videos are. So what happened was the lack of immune system that I had due to the anti-rejection drugs caused the Epstein-Barr virus to allow something to happen called spinal lymphoma. And didn't know I had it, but some of you may have noticed my head was kind of tilting to the right, my right. And I just attributed it to the scoliosis that I still have. Anyway, so November of 23, so of 22. So I got the kidney in January. So November of 22, I thought I had a pinched nerve in my neck, and my whole left arm went numb for about a week. So I went to my neurologist. He said, yeah, you know what? I'll book you for an MRI. Now, I'm claustrophobic. So getting an MRI, I have dreaded that moment. Mind you, I figured a way around it, so it works fine. So I went to Humber River in February. March. It took me December, January, February, 4 months to get this MRI. And got the MRI done. And when I came out and everything, the technicians and people in the hospital area were like running around panicking with their arms in the air. You've got to go right away to Toronto Western Hospital. Western Hospital is the place you go for back and spine surgeries. If you want a hip or knee replaced, you go to Toronto Wellesley, which is the elbow, hinge, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle, leg. That used to be the orthopedic hospital. And Western is known worldwide for its surgery for back and spine. So, they wouldn't tell me anything because they didn't know anything, but they thought they spotted something, and you got to go down to Western. Well, I was tired, and it was late in the evening that I got the MRI. I went home. Next day, I called my neurologist, and I explained the situation. I said, what should I do? And he had the results right there. And he goes, you know what? Maybe you should go to Western. So that's Tuesday, the last week in March. Monday, I had the MRI. Tuesday, I went to Western. Wednesday, I had another MRI. Thursday, I had a CT scan. Friday, I was being operated on. Spine. They found spinal lymphoma. Two or three spots on the spine. So I went, and I came out of it, and what they did, they thought the idea was to remove the lymphoma, which they did. But in doing so, they put, fusion rods up my back because my spine wasn't in the best of shape. And I came out of it, I'm not joking you, looking like this. Okay? I can't even put my head down now because they've straightened it. My chin was in my chest. And this is the way I was for 6 or 7 months. I couldn't look up. When you're down like this, you can only look, and I had to lean my back to see up. Couldn't see upper shelves. Couldn't go shopping. I couldn't see I couldn't reach the shelves because I couldn't see. When I was walking, I could only see 3 or 4 feet in front of me, and it was torture. Absolute torture. And initially, when I saw the surgeon, he looked at me and he went, yeah, well, you can deal with it. You got to strengthen your core muscles. You can deal with this. I said, I can't deal with it. There's too many things wrong with this. So that was March, April, May, June, July, August, in September, late September. So I've been dealing with this for 7 months. That's why I hadn't made any videos, okay? Because I couldn't even look up at the monitor. So they took another MRI, and I had a list of stuff I was going to argue about that I couldn't do in that situation with the head in the chest. And they had worked on right from the base of the spine down to, I think it's C6. You have the neck vertebrae, then you have the upper chest vertebrae, then you have the lumbar vertebrae. So they worked down to the C6, I think it was. And they took a look at the MRI, and I had this list of what I was going to argue, and I had my mind made up. I was going to give it. I walked in, sat down, and I saw one of Dr. Massicott, he's a surgeon, one of his fellows. And it's not like they drinking buddies. People who work with him and assist him. These fellows often come from different countries around the world, and in their own country, they are maybe one of the top back surgeons, spinal surgeons in the country, and they come to Toronto to work with him. Okay? So I met one of these guys, and he looks at me, he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. Next week we're bringing you in, and we're going to have another surgery, and we're going to fix this. I was delighted. But I still had a whole page of arguments. I said, so I made up this page of stuff I was going to argue about. Now I have nothing to argue. He says, talk to your wife. Well, yeah. You know, I do that anyway. When I was in the hospital, I joked and I said, they took my blood pressure and it was high. And they said, you know, your blood pressure's a bit high. I said, well, when you're married to the same person for 44 years, your blood pressure's going to be high. Anyway, so they operated again. So I had 2 spinal operations in 7 months to go along with the kidney transplant, which will be 2 years in January, and the heart double bypass, which will be 4 years in January. So it's 4 major surgeries in about little over 3 years. There you go. You know, and I told somebody this, that I'd had all these surgeries, and man, you're a stud. I mean, nobody does that. You know, you must be made of iron. Married 44 years? Yeah, I'd be made of iron. No, it's just a case of, hey, it had to be done, so be it. You know, engage, and we did, and they lowered the spine and anchored it properly. They went all the way down to C10, so that's a little more than half my back is double rod fusion all the way to the neck, which means I've got a little bit limited. Well, when you move your spine, which happened, it affects everything in your body. Of course, it affects your ribs, this, that, your collarbone, your arms, everything. And then they moved it back, which shook everything up again. The head came back up, thankfully. Knock on wood. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. It's back to where it should be, thank God, because now I can function. But I can't turn my head because I've got rods literally from the base of my neck all the way down to past the midpoint in the back. So there's things I can do. I mean, I can move, not a problem. But because of the nerves and the spinal cord and everything, and I still have scoliosis, so my back is anything but straight. It sort of does this, but yeah. Anyway, so but I'm at least functioning. It's been 2 months since the operation. I am gradually, and when your head is forward in your chest, all your weight is forward, and your balance, which comes from your inner ear, got screwed up supreme. I had no sense of balance. You know, I had to hold on to things. I now use a walker, and I use a walker now because I've lost all this muscle tone, and it's probably due to the cancer, to the lymphoma. But I mean, my hands are like bony. I've got no muscle tone in my legs. I lost 40 plus pounds overall. So now I fit into clothes I haven't fit into since I'm a teenager. And you probably noticed the whole, you can tell I've lost weight. If I stand up, you'll be able to tell, but I'm not standing up, I'm sitting down. So had the operation, second operation, which was successful. They're very pleased with it. The back is reasonably straight. The neck is fine. And as I mentioned, everything is functioning properly. But so then I began 5 sessions of radiation, and man, did that screw things up. 5 sessions of full radiation in 5 days, and about 3 weeks after the radiation, the side effects kicked in, which was a supremely sore throat, inflamed inside, and it made it hard to swallow. Plus your head, that was after the first operation, sorry. So my head's down like this. So not only do I have a problem looking up or whatever, swallowing, eating food, I had to have everything mushy and stuff like that. Applesauce. Couldn't eat any real protein, so I lost more weight. And then I underwent 18 weeks of chemotherapy. And that lasted about May, June, July, August, September, 4 months of chemotherapy. And that was okay. I had no problem with chemotherapy. I had no real side effects to it, except my hair stopped growing. Completely stopped growing. Didn't fall out. Okay, I still have hair. So, but it stopped growing totally. So for the whole length of time, who needs to shave, And everything was nice and clean and so fine. About 4 weeks after the chemotherapy stopped, which would have been early September, all of a sudden, the hair starts to say, "Oh, we're awake now. Grow lots of hair." So that's where this comes in. So I didn't shave, and I decided to let the stuff grow, because it takes me 2 weeks to look like I've got a 5 o'clock shadow. Both sons, Evan in particular, if he doesn't shave for a day, of course now he's got a full beard, but when he was shaving, it was like he missed a day, instant beard. But Evan is now known for his beard. Everybody knows him. He's got a very wonderful beard. And Benji has a beard too. So I thought, all right, I'll leave this. The mustache is nicely grown in. And this part here, I didn't like a full beard. So to make a long story short, this is what you get. And it's experimental. I can shave it off at no time. So no problem. But anyway, that was after the first operation. Second operation went well. I'm achy, tired. I don't have a lot of strength. I'm ambidextrous, but what the operation caused in the shoulders and the spine and the nerves is my left hand is now, for certain things, stronger than my right, and for other things, my right is stronger than my left. Anyway, to make a long story short, and to get to the punchline, I'm feeling better. It's been 2 months. I'm feeling better. I'm walking better. I walk with a cane, and which I did for a long time because of arthritis. And I use a walker when I'm walking long distances. I had an echogram done at Toronto General, and where they have the echogram facilities, if you've ever been to Toronto General, there are 2 elevators on either side of the building, on the west side and the east side. And the building's built like a T, okay? So you take one of the 2 elevators, and then you walk roughly the distance from, Ethiopia to Madagascar to get to the cardiac unit, which is ironic because I said to her, I've been there before, by the time you get there, thank God for the walker, because you can flip it around and sit down on it. I got there and I said, that's ironic, and it's also sadistic. You have an echogram unit where there are no elevators, and it's a very long walk. And she said, sorry, we can't move anything, we're stuck here. You could have gotten a porter. Every hospital has porters. North York General has porters. Etobicoke General, every place has porters. But when it comes to Toronto General, don't get a porter. Hire a Sherpa to carry you on his shoulders where you have to go. Because the porters there, they'll forget where they're taking you. And then when you need one to take you back downstairs, you can't find one. These people are paid, and so they do one run, and then they take an hour off, and nobody can find them. Anyway, so the walker saved my life. So I had an echogram done. The heart's fine. Kidney's fine. The blood tests are wonderful. But I'm just recovering. Now, after all that chemo and radiation, the chemo did its job. It got 95% of the cancer in the whole body. So right now, there's only one spot in the lower neck that they don't know what it is. They're not sure. I had something called a PET scan back a month ago or 2 months ago after the chemo. A PET scan is not where you grab a cat, swing it over your head. A PET scan, protein electronic scan, protein electronic something scan. And it's not like, what was that cartoon years ago? Dudley, no, not Dudley Do-Right, where the character takes a proton pill. This is a proton scanning thing, like a CT scan. And what it does, it shows up pockets of where you have sugar deposits, because cancer loves sugar. And you starve for several hours before you have one of these tests. Then they give you this 7-Eleven sized drink that you've got to finish all of it. And it's loaded with sugar or some kind of sweetener. And they sit you in a chair, and the bathroom is right there. And you'll need it. So I drank half of it, then had to run to the bathroom, and came back, drank the rest of it, and had to run to the bathroom. Because what that stuff does, it goes through your whole system, and in doing so, cancer gobbles it up like it's crazy. Then they do the PET scan, and it's highlighted like a neon sign where you have pockets of cancer. So they know in this one spot they're not sure of. So I have to go through 10 days, 10 sessions more of radiation starting a week from Monday, a week from tomorrow. No, what's today? Saturday? Sunday. You don't know days. You retire, you have no idea of days. So today's Sunday. So a week from tomorrow, I haven't got the schedule yet, but that includes skipping Christmas and New Year's. I'm undergoing 10 sessions of half dose radiation as opposed to 5 full dose, which gave me the throat issue. But I got to go back down there for essentially what is a 20-minute thing. And to get from my house to Toronto to Princess Margaret, it takes me about an hour and a half. Now, I haven't driven since March, which was the first operation. Firstly, with my head in my chest, I couldn't drive anyway because I couldn't look up. I've been given the green light to drive now, but I have to wait until I get a little more strength in my arms and my legs. So I'm looking February, maybe March, till I start terrorizing the roads. Besides, I'm getting used to being chauffeured. I use a ride system where it costs a bit of money, but you get a driver, takes you to where you have to go, and either he or somebody else will wait for you and take you home. I don't have to deal with public transit or Wheel-Trans, and everybody wears a mask. Sometimes he picks 2 or 3 people up because we're all going to the same place, either Princess Margaret or Mount Sinai Hospital or Toronto General. So it's all in the same area. So why not? But I'm on the way better. I still have this radiation, but 2 weeks of radiation or more to deal with this one spot. Now, I don't know if, because it's lymphoma, who knows if it's going to come back. It might, but if it does, it does. I mean, so be it. When I got the diagnosis, it was lymphoma. Okay. You know, I'm now 69. I'm a year away from 70. Okay. And some of you guys, I know of a couple of you who are going to be watching this, are in your mid to late 50s, and you were my students. Think of that. But anyway, I thought, okay, needs to be done. You know, like the heart operation. Let's do it. The kidney transplant. Okay, fine. Let's do it. And it's made a big difference. Even with all the stuff that came with it. Like I'd rather have back fusion and neck fusion than not have a kidney and be on dialysis, to be absolutely honest with you. And then I had the spinal surgery, which I wasn't given a choice, because next thing I knew, yeah, and the anesthetic that they gave me, I was hallucinating for a week. And then when they did the second back surgery, I said, don't give me that stuff. It makes me see things and scenarios. They gave me the same stuff. And again for a week or more. It's probably better than LSD. Okay, I was visiting places, couldn't describe them to you. That's a whole video unto itself. If you're busy smoking weed with a lot of THC, that nothing compares to being on this anesthetic, whatever it was. Hopefully I don't need any more operations. But they'll see if they got that one spot. I haven't been given the green light to say, okay, well, you're in remission or you're cancer-free, because they don't know. And lymphoma is I mean, you can deal with it. You can handle it, you can get rid of it, but it also comes back. So we don't know, or it might not come back. You know, I'm back on some of the medication, which were the anti-rejection drugs for the kidney. Is this all medical stuff? Yeah, I'm becoming a doctor. My mother always wanted me to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a dentist, or an accountant. And I said, no, thanks. I don't want to be so active that I'm dealing with sick people financially, sick people medically, sick people mentally. No. I want to be proactive so that I am dealing with some of you people, and I can see the results afterwards, and maybe I've made, you know, a little bit of a good impression, and it's been beneficial to you. But I'm becoming a doctor. All this medical stuff that I'm picking up, that's what you do. You know, you become more familiar with your own self and your spine and how you're feeling and your limitations and drugs and so. I'm on drugs for anti-rejection, to protect the stomach, because one of the drugs, and side effects left and right. I'm on about 17 different medications. Some of you with illnesses I know are on a lot of medications. I hear you. And thankfully, they don't really interact with each other, which would be interesting if they did. But my sons and I were just talking. You know, I haven't had a beer in a long time. I like beer. I like drinking. I haven't had anything since February. So I looked it up, all the medication that I'm on. Every single one says, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't nothing. Not like reduced alcohol beer. No, don't touch nothing, because it'll make things very bad for you. Yes. Okay. You're on blood pressure medication, which I am. So it lowers your blood pressure. Okay, you want your blood pressure to drop to 0? Fine. You know, go ahead and drink. No, I don't think so. So, listen, I don't drink. So there goes the beer. And I'm on medication. Anyway, so I take the medication. People were telling me, well, you know, if you have a transplant, you have to be on pills for the rest of your life. So what? You take a pill. How hard is it? You know, what is it going to grow? A third eye? I don't have a third eye. You know. Anyway, so it is what it is. And that's, hey, listen, you only get one chance to do a go around. I've already outlived many of my relatives. Literally, I've won, kind of thing. And that's just the way it is. It's a case of you do what you have to do. And for those of you out there who aren't the kind of people, we don't go to doctors. We don't need doctors. We're going to do holistic stuff. I got news for you. All the stuff that I've had, in spite of the fact now that I have rods up my back and I have limited mobility in certain areas, and I'm recovering from 4 operations in 3.5 months, hey, I'm still here. As someone I just messaged a couple days ago, and I explained my situation, and he says, "I'm glad to hear you're on this side of the grass." And he's absolutely right. You only have one go around. That's it. Because none of us really know what's on the other side of the fence, except maybe greener grass. So it is what it is, okay? You have this, you deal with it. You have that, you deal with it. You don't just hide in a room and say, "I don't want to know what's wrong with me." Why not? Unless you're deciding to, live with the consequences, and they can be crippling. So here I am. I use a walker. I use a cane. So it is what it is. And I'm still here, and I'm broadcasting. First time in 9 months. So it's a long video. How long? 31 minutes. Okay. So that's my story. So to make to give you the synopsis, I went in what I thought was a pinched nerve in my neck. Turned out to be cancer of the spine. And it was eating away at the vertebrae. It was destroying the vertebrae. So I got that looked after. And the first time it was done with the spine, it was a disaster. So 7 months later, they went back in, they fixed it. And so now I am here before you in a much better condition than I was even 4 months ago. And definitely than I was back in October. And if I hadn't had that MRI to look for a pinched nerve in my neck, they would never have found the lymphoma, and I might not be here to talk to you. And the ironic thing is, when I had the heart operation, because I did that as a run-up to the kidney transplant, you have to do 12 stress tests. And in one of them, they found the beginnings of clogged arteries within the heart. And they said, "You need a double bypass." And I said, "Let's do it." And they said to me, "This is dangerous territory. This is called the widowmaker. You don't know you have it until you're on the ground dead." And in our family, there have been people who were perfectly healthy, or so they thought, or so they seemed. And I had a cousin drop dead in the Pittsburgh airport. Now, he'd had 2 other heart attacks, and he wasn't the kind of person to sit still. So, but he had the same thing. And I know someone else had the same thing. And they just one minute they're awake, and the next minute they're not. So I had it done. Make it so. That led to the kidney transplant. That led to the cancer. That led to 2 operations. That led to me full spinal fusion on 2/3 of my spine. The bottom line is, everything worked out. I'm still recovering from the heart operation, but I'm fine. I'm here. I'm talking to you for 34 minutes and 12 seconds. And that's just the way it is. It's a nasty run of luck that we've had. My wife also has spinal and other issues. I had the transplant in January of 22. She had neck surgery on her spine in February of 22. And so we were recovering together, kind of thing. And it's made it's ironic that you have this happen. And she has the same spinal problems as I've got. She hasn't had that kind of spinal surgery. But hey, listen, you know, it's just, it is what it is. You deal with it, you know, and hopefully you'll come out better than you were. And if you don't, you're not going to improve your life. And, you know, it's just, so be it. Make it so, you know. If I need this, we'll get it done. And we did. And if it needs to be redone, we did. And I'm still here. Now, so for those of you who have had birthdays in the last 8 or 9 months, and I've missed them, because I really haven't been on Facebook at all. And for 7 months, I couldn't even go on the computer properly, because I couldn't even see the monitor. But anyway, I'm glad to be back. It's a long video. It's a medical video. It's not a poor me video. I am quite happy with what I've had to deal with, because the end result has been positive. Okay, so I don't have the limitations, the freedom that I had before. We'd get in the car, drive around. But in health perspective, yeah, it's much improved. Without that first MRI, for sure, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. Okay, because it would have advanced very quickly to lymph nodes, and once it's in the lymph nodes, you're toast. Anyway, if I've missed your birthday over the last 9 months, a happy birthday. If I've missed anniversaries, a happy anniversary. If I've missed childbirths, a happy child, and stuff like that. I know that I've watched a little bit of Facebook, and people are celebrating this or that or the other. And I wish you the best. Stay healthy. Go to the doctor if something pops up. Don't be, for some people, I can take it. No, don't be like that. If something pops up, you know, I'm a man, I can take it, or sit in silence. That's the worst part, and that goes for mental health. Okay, it goes for mental health. You guys all know that I was and still am ADHD. I'm pretty sure growing up I was on the spectrum. I'm pretty sure I'm still on the spectrum. And we have relatives of the family who have clinical depression or anxiety or anything along that line. And so you try and you get some kind of resolution. And if you're in that category, when it comes to physical health, mental health, okay, reach out, talk to people, talk to somebody about it. Do not just internalize it, because that's not good either. For those of you who have watched the whole thing, I know if I was watching this video, I would have run screaming after the 5-minute mark. If you stayed with me for 38 minutes, thank you. Take care of yourselves. I'm just going to reach over and there we go. Be good. Stay healthy. If you need the medical help, get it done. Okay, I'm living proof. I'm living proof that the vaccines for COVID work, because at one point I was in the hospital during chemo and I caught COVID, full-blown COVID. Didn't know I had it, and it was gone in 2-3 days. Why? Because I had every vaccine known to man. Okay? So, get your flu shot, get vaccinated, get everything aided. Okay? And hopefully my next video will not be 9 months from now. But I'll keep you up. I'll keep you up on the radiation and what that does and so on and so forth. In the meantime, I hope you like this. You know, when it grew, and I didn't know what it would look like. I haven't had a beard since high school. So we would see we'll see how it works out. Right now, I kind of like it. You know, the only problem is when you drink something, it gets stuck in your colander, the sieve, and you have to wipe it off. For those of you with lots of beards and lots of facial hair, you know what I'm talking about. I haven't had a beard in decades, so I'm growing one. I hope you kind of like it. It's a little whiter than I had hoped. I was looking for the salt and pepper version. You will never mistake me for Doctor Strange, just strange. Okay, we will see you later. We'll see you in the next video. This is video 32. Yeah, I got to start working on these things. Bye for now.